Okay.
Recording on progress.
I matched. Oh, she's too intense.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-core villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another poppy episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 410, recorded on Monday, February 13th, 2023. Tonight, we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by your boy Hydraberg. The movie is The Cell from the year 2000. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randeezy. What's up, man?
Hello, gentlemen.
What's going on, folks? I don't have a whole lot of preamble today. I'm so sorry.
I need a spiel from you now. Go right now.
I've watched too much weird shit this week. My brain's on lock.
Heard that. I'm happy you're here, Randeezy. It's so easy to be Randeezy. That's what all the kids are saying these days.
It's just too goddamn easy.
Next up, calling in from South Korea, we got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Dream stains.
Oh, big shark boy and lava girl fan.
Oh, yeah. Dude, dream, the song.
Dream,
Classic. Yeah.
Dream.
I will die knowing
Dude,
that minuscule piece
Me
of trivia.
too, because
and it
we
will
all
still
cleaned
make
the
me laugh.
theater at that time.
Dude.
I'm gonna cut my video because you guys are cutting in and out like a motherfucker. It's really bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Actually,
Everybody sounds good on my end.
yeah, not good on mine.
Bob's wiener's gonna be out so quick.
Bob, we should have got you that computer like 5 years ago.
The computer's fine.
It's still on the list.
It's
No, I'm talking
You're on my
about for
phone.
Utah. I know that you can't hardwire into your internet. You're using Wi-Fi.
yeah. Hang on. Let me. Oh my god, everything is ruined. 2 seconds.
This is why we do behind the scenes, because we don't need Bob.
Bob was the noob the whole time.
He makes us think we need him, but really we don't.
He's gaslighting our asses.
I always say
Patriarchy
that about Bob.
Iron Fist and Bob.
Iron Fist and Predator Bob.
It's got a lot of names.
Yeah. He's not chiming in either, so I guess there's no
No.
corrections needed.
Yeah.
Yep, I guess
letting
that's
it
all
roll.
correct. Yep.
You know, you really just kind of got to own yourself, you know?
It's good to know who you are.
You
It's
know?
good to feel understood.
when you
like,
don't
for
speak
example,
out
this
against
is-
things, you agree with them.
What? Oh yeah, that's the law. That's the law of the internet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can't get
Are
this
we-
untangled.
I don't think Rob's here.
He's here,
anymore.
but his video is off, but his microphone is says on. Just untangling the headphones for now.
I'm very confused.
You guys invited me for a fake podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is actually our timeshare
There never
presentation.
was a prom, was there?
Blob? I guess he's still here. His name is still on the list.
He's on the list.
I
Who do you
mean-
know? Bob, who do you know here?
Look,
Well,
the man's name's on the list. What can I do?
What are we drinking, fellas?
coffee.
Mhm.
Monster energy drink.
We're getting our caffeines on then.
I got sweet or unsweetened tea, but
There you
caffeine.
go.
There we go. Oh, okay.
I have an Edia toffee nut signature latte.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, look at that. Iron
We've
Fisted
returned.
Predator
Edia.
Bob.
We weren't worried about you.
Goodness. Do you guys want to redo that intro in a really organic way that's not going to be awkward for everybody?
Sure.
Because god damn.
All right, sure.
Sure. The whole thing?
This is why you do behind
From
the
the top?
scenes.
From the top.
Right, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, that was pretty unusable, to be
Okay.
honest.
Thanks,
It would be
Bob.
nonsense.
Thanks.
I
Everyone
was
laugh
spitting
a
bars up
lot
here,
at
you-
my.
Killing it.
Wasting my talents.
You guys
All
brought
right.
your A game for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
My
Oh,
second
yeah.
take is always my best one. So
Perfect.
Usually takes me about 69 takes.
We got
All
time.
right.
All
And
right.
away we are you you're still recording, yeah?
Yeah, you're good.
Good.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-core villains on the mic, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another poppy episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name's Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 410, recorded Monday, February 13th, 2023. Tonight, we're talking about The Cell, which was chosen by your boy Hydraberg. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show tonight. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randoozy. What's up, man?
Oh yeah. How's it going, big guy? You feeling good?
I'm feeling great.
Oh man.
How are you?
I'm so ready to talk about a cell. The a cell. I don't know. Man. We gotta decide why this movie is called that, don't we?
Starring Jenny from The Cell,
Jenny, she's still Jenny from The Cell in my book.
everyone's favorite pop artist. Oh, Randoozy. Randoozy the floozy. Next up, we got your boy Soju calling in from South Korea. What's up, man?
Oh, what up? It's your boy. Dream stains. Hey, Randy, have you ever seen the film Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
You know, I never have.
Really?
You mean
I
like the hit
thought
single?
that we worked at
Dream,
the
dream, dream,
movie
dream, dream, dream.
theater when
This
that
podcast is as scripted as the NFL, apparently, because we have done this before.
We
This
sold
is
out
take
for far
two.
less.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, far less.
Far less.
I think I might be able to afford a Snickers bar. I've been eyeing.
Good
Nope,
luck, Randoozy.
It's not in the budget, Randy. Sorry.
God.
Last but not least, making her triumphant return to the Straight Chilling podcast. Everybody, welcome back our good friend Caitlin. What's up, Caitlin?
Hey,
Welcome back, Caitlin.
thank you.
Bravo!
Third time's a charm.
Hell,
No,
yeah.
this is our first take. This is organic.
I don't
Oh, my
think that's
third, my
what-
third
Yeah.
appearance. Just
Oh, you're
Catch up, Bruce. Catch up.
God damn it.
You spilled the beans, damn it.
Start take 4.
all right. Reset
Why
the
do you have
tape.
to spill your beans?
Roll it back. Reel it back on, Bob. We got to take this one more time.
Gotta get it
Stand your
perfect.
damn thoughts. Caitlin, thanks so much for sitting in with our insanity once again. For new listeners, why don't you remind them where they can find your show, Plug It Up at?
Yeah, you can find Plug It Up wherever you get your podcasts, and I'm Plug It Up Pod on social media. And it's a podcast about the monstrous feminine. So anything lady horror related or otherwise. Been shoehorning a lot lately, but you know, it's good.
never done that. We've never covered
No.
Ghost before.
Right.
Or for ladies. This time it's pink and it costs like 45% more for some reason.
I need it. I need it now. Yeah, check out Plug It Up everywhere you get your podcasts. You will definitely not regret doing so. Before we get into the main event, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. Our March poll is still posted over on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this March. The theme for March is It's a Scream, Baby! And the movies to vote between are Scream 2, Scream 3, and Scream 4.
Whoa, Bob, how are those numbers looking?
Pretty good. Scream 2 is picking up some pace.
Okay.
It's neck and neck with Scream 3, and Scream 4 is still just stomping the shit out of everything.
We still
That's
got we still got a few weeks to go though.
Not a few weeks. That's
Well,
not true.
A couple. Okay.
Personally, I got
We have 2.5 weeks
Two.
to go.
Just two, like exactly two. So yeah, get your votes in before the end of February. and we'll
Calendar
see-
Bob over here.
See
Damn.
what we're talking about. You're just making up time. It's not
Just
even a
what-
leap year, dog.
Old Gregorian
Yes.
Bob.
descriptor, but Gregorian. Chant for us, motherfucker.
That's my favorite blank Bob name. Gregorian.
That's way too highbrow for this podcast.
Oh shit.
I thought you preferred Predator, Bob.
No. Surprise, surprise. Oh,
My
never know what Bob you're
mistake.
gonna get. Bob's like a box of chocolates. Get your votes in before the end of the month. We'll see what we're talking about this March. We got another mini cast dropping this Friday, February the 17th. You got your boy Randeezy talking about M3gan. Randy, is this your favorite movie of the year?
Oh man, you're just gonna have to find out. I do not blow up my own spot. Thank you.
Ooh,
Mathregan, it's up
Friggin'.
there.
Stonewall Randy. Okay. All right. You can check that out over on Patreon. If you support us at the $10 level or above, you get access to a whole back catalog of over 90 mini casts now, and we add to that every single month. Check it out. Speaking of Patreon, big shouts outs to a brand new Patreon supporter.
Oh shit.
I know. Big thanks to our boy Slaktowski for signing up and showing us some love on Patreon. Every dollar you guys contribute goes right back into the show. We really do appreciate the support. And as is tradition around these here parts, we owe Slaktowski the straight chilling salute. This one goes out to you, bud.
Slap my ass, my guy.
Slap, slap, slap.
My
yeah.
guy. My guy.
Good move,
My
Sergio.
guy.
It was a long multisyllabic name.
Oh, yeah, right in the ass. You know,
Real
cover it.
guttural name.
My guy.
Dude, my dude, you,
Buddy.
you, friend.
Call me your buddy, pal. What else we got? Juice, you did a thing over on
What else is this
YouTube,
podcast about?
What are we doing? You're talking about Winnie the Pooh Mang or whatever.
Yeah, I got a couple of YouTube things coming up. So already out by the time you're listening to this podcast, I did a spoiler-free review of Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. This is a new film that came out. And I didn't want to spoil it for you, but it was kind of one of those movies where I could see people being like, really, should I like take the time to watch this? I like found it a little entertaining. It's kind of like a Terrifier mixed with Wrong Turn, but with Winnie the Pooh. Kind of.
Sounds hot.
Yeah. So it's really ridiculous, really over the top, which I kind of prefer if you're gonna do a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Yeah.
So
Don't
I
be
mean,
subtle with Winnie
I
the
need this
Pooh
really
murdering.
grounded.
yeah.
They were going
Well-
real subtle, lowbrow.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
24,
Hear about
yeah.
Winnie the Pooh having trouble at his job at the factory or whatever.
I need to get in his
Psychodrama.
mind.
So yeah, you could check that out and see my thoughts on that. Also coming out tomorrow, Thursday this week, in honor of Knock at the Cabin, I thought it was time to just kind of go through the ranks, and I have a countdown ranking of every single Shyamalan film. So
Wow.
Oh shit.
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
How deep underground does that list go?
Dude, oh man, you spend some time in the dumpster on that one. Longer than
Did
I
you-
thought.
You watched every single one of his movies?
Well, so no, I mean, I had seen a majority of them. I'll talk about a couple of them I hadn't in what you've been watching. So I
Okay,
did,
gotcha.
and then a couple of them I hadn't seen in a while. I kind of did a refresher, but I did see the newest one that y'all covered last week, and
Okay.
and then another one too that I had never seen. So, but yeah, all 15 films. I did 15 Shyamalan films countdown rankings. So,
Tight.
yeah,
Okay.
that's coming out as well, and that is all my housekeeping.
Sweet.
All right.
Over on Let's Get Physical Media, we're going to be dropping a brand new commentary for a movie called Victor Crowley on Tuesday the 21st, also known as Fat Tuesday. Check it out.
Ooh.
Shout out.
Who you calling Tuesday, guy?
Monday. I'm out of control. Yeah, check that out everywhere you get your podcast. Let's Get Physical Media. And finally, I just wanted to thank everybody that hung out this past Friday for the Joe Bob watch party we had. He did a double feature and married some folks. It was a Valentine's Day themed double feature. And it was all right. The movie choices were okay, but the hangout was really, really dope.
I
So
bet
It's
it
one of the
was.
more all right weddings I've ever seen.
To be fair, I fell asleep before the actual wedding. So I could not
What,
stay up.
Bob? You fell
It's
asleep?
so late. It's
It
so
goes
damn
late.
late.
11
hard.
p.m. Oh my god!
No,
On a Friday? Who
it's
do you
like
think I am?
3 o'clock in the morning, dude. It is tough.
It was so long.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks to everybody for hanging out for that. And I believe our house is clean.
Yes, it is.
This house is clean.
All right, let's get into the main event. We are talking about The Cell, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Now, Bob, if there's one thing that I know about The Cell, it's that when Blockbuster was being liquidated horrifically, there was probably 10 million copies of this DVD available for purchase for like
Oh,
3 cents
yeah.
a pop. How many of those do you own?
I bought 69,000 copies.
Damn.
Oh, wow. That's only like $6-7.
Bob's entire blue room is just like 95% this cell.
That's
I'm gonna start mailing them out to our Patreon subscribers.
Hey.
Free copy in the mail, y'all.
The cell
it's your
tier.
personal Jerry Maguire collection.
Oh, it's the sought after Cell tier. Everybody wants it.
Oh yeah.
The Cell. This came out in the year 2000 with a runtime of 1 hour and 47 minutes. Directed by Tarsem Singh, written by Mark Protasevich. Ooh. Starring Jennifer Lopez, Vince Vaughn, Vincent D'Onofrio, some other folks. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of the box is as follows. Jennifer Lopez takes a terrifying journey into the mind of a killer in this chilling, critically acclaimed psychological thriller. When a serial killer played by Vincent D'Onofrio falls into a coma before his last victim can be found, a child therapist must use an experimental treatment to enter his mind and learn his secrets before it's too late. Gentle lady, have you seen this movie before? Would you recommend people check it out? Caitlin, why don't you kick us off?
This was my first watch actually of The Cell, and I'm shocked because I love the horror adjacent crime thrillers of that general era, like the Cape Fear, the Gothica, the
Oh, yeah.
Seven of it all. I love those kind of movies. So I'm surprised I hadn't seen this. And I would recommend it, especially now that I know it's Hydraberg's pick. Like I really want Hydraberg to like me. I liked this a lot. I am a bit of a J-Lo hater. She's
Oh.
decent in this, besides the stupid whisper voice that she does throughout the movie. So in an ideal world, I would recast her with one of the other leading ladies of that era, maybe
Jennifer
Julianne
Love Hewitt,
Moore.
of course.
Another Jennifer specifically.
You have to get another Jennifer.
Yeah, it's contractual. But yeah, I would recommend this.
Awesome. Ray and Do, what about you?
Also a first watch for me. Is there something about seeing an overabundance of unpurchased copies of this DVD left me with the impression that it was not worth my time somehow? So I never really bothered with it. J-Lo and J-Lo in film, I mostly associate her with Anaconda, also not confidence inspiring necessarily. So yeah, first timer for
Not
me.
Selena?
I never saw it.
Missing out.
I just got the O face for that. Like, oh God.
Different O face.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That token's already taken, I guess. That's already been copywritten.
Anaconda is a great reference point, though. Yeah, fair.
Yeah. And there's a distinct lack of John Voight here. Yeah, I would not terribly strongly recommend it unless what you're looking for is extremely interesting visuals. I think you could do a lot worse, but I think you could definitely do a lot better too. So pretty tepid for me.
All right, Juice, what about you?
This was a first time watch for me, and I was not really familiar with this film, honestly. I think there's like some stills that I saw that I had like seen maybe floating around, but I didn't piece together that it was all kind of from this film. I was kind of surprised to hear like Vince Vaughn was in this. And like they were saying, it's kind of like a medium. I kind of agree with everybody. It's like a medium recommend. I do kind of enjoy that era as well. But it kind of reminded me of like a Seven Light, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Like
it's the RC Cola of Fincher movies.
Yeah. So I kind of like recommend. I don't think I hate it as much as Randy does. Like I don't have quite the disdain Randy does.
TBD.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but like everybody hates it. Like everybody said, it's kind of like a medium recommend. I don't care if Hydraberg likes me as much though. So.
Must be nice.
Some of us are still trying to climb that hill, Justin.
Okay, Lynn, you've worked your way up enough in the Slack, so you're fine.
How about that?
Bob, would you recommend? Had you seen this film before?
Yeah, I'd seen this once previously, and it'd been a little while ago, so my memory was hazy. I dig this movie pretty well for what it is. It definitely doesn't like blow your mind, but I think it's interesting visually. I think the performances are like decent, not great, but like good enough, I think. And the story and conceit is like just interesting enough to like keep you entertained, I think. And like, what a weird pick from Jennifer Lopez. This movie's so dark for Jennifer Lopez. Like, I just wouldn't anticipate her wanting to be in a movie like this. I thought that was a strange choice, but interesting enough. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty medium recommend, I guess, across the board here. Check it out if you wanna. We are going to spoil.
Okay.
That's
our recommendation is check it out if you want.
As you could have before you started.
If you want to be cool.
Just remember, everybody, we could force you if we wanted to.
That's why I'm mailing everyone a copy right now. Mandatory.
The stamp
viewing.
cost more.
Damn.
Bend the knee to the J-Lo.
We're going to Clockwork Orange your asses.
Hell yeah. I mean, no. We're going to spoil the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, do you have a plot synopsis for this film?
There it is. Yes. Yes, I do. That's exactly what you sound like to me. So now you know.
Wow.
Get
those ears checked, buddy.
The full plot for The Cell. Child psychologist Jennifer Lopez is hired to conduct an experimental treatment for a young boy in a coma. Via science, she will enter the boy's mind and try to coax him into consciousness. The procedure continues to fail, and when Jennifer Lopez suggests the procedure be reversed and have the boy enter her mind, the scientists reject this, believing it is unsafe. Meanwhile, serial killer Carl Starger abducts women and drowns them in an automated tank that slowly fills with water. The FBI trace rare dog hairs found on his latest victim to Starger's home. They find him unconscious on the floor. Turns out he's fallen victim to the same virus the young boy has and will be in a coma forever. FBI agent Vince Vaughn persuades Jennifer Lopez to enter Starger's mind and find out the location of his murder tank before the latest abductee drowns. While in the mind of a killer, we see a young, innocent Starger abused by his sadistic father. We also meet the representation of Starger's darker side, who manifests as a torturous king. Jennifer Lopez is tormented to the point she forgets the place she's in is not real. Vince Vaughn agrees to go into Starger's mind and help her. Vince Vaughn is tortured to shit by having his guts slowly pulled out of his stomach while Jennifer Lopez joyfully watches. Your boy Vince reminds J-Lo of her younger brother that died following a 6-month coma as a result of a car accident. She then remembers who she is and stabs Starger, saving Vince. Then Vince's keen eye notices an insignia on a tank in Starger's mind that matches the insignia on a pulley they found in his basement. They then exit Starger's mind and find out the pulley is rare. And after its previous owner went bankrupt, the government hired Starger to seal up his property. Vince Vaughn races to that property and shoots out one side of the glass cell and saves the young woman from drowning. Jennifer Lopez takes it upon herself to let Starger's consciousness enter her own mind, where she stabs the big evil Starger to death. When she does, the younger version suffers the same injury and asks her for a mercy killing, which results in a baptismal-like drowning. This also kills Starger in real life. Afterwards, the FBI excludes all history of this cutting-edge technology being used. Jennifer Lopez finally gets the go-ahead to let the little boy's consciousness into her own mind, and we see the two embrace one another in the paradise that is Jenny from the Block's brain. We're led to believe she saves the boy. Roll them credits. There you go.
All right.
Whoa. Don't let
Why
any
is this
kids
called
in
The
my
Cell?
mind. The cell, like a cage, Randy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just like where he was drowning women.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems pretty.
And also,
Pretty
like,
random.
the cell of the mind, Randy.
What?
Wow.
Walk me through what that means, Bob.
The mind is a prison that is inescapable.
Oh shit, bro.
Y'all. J-Lo's
Damn.
deep
Oh,
as
shit.
fuck.
Yeah. So that's kind of. So I want to address something. I don't hate this movie actually.
Oh, okay.
Doubt it.
I guess I gave that
Didn't you-
impression.
Well,
That's
didn't you
kind of
say
the impression
you
I give about
didn't?
most movies?
I thought you said you generally
I
wouldn't
don't.
recommend.
I don't very much recommend it.
Oh,
but
okay.
I think that has a lot more to do with the fact that it's just kind of like
Weird.
substance free.
Oh.
It's just it doesn't
Very,
really to me.
It's very Lynchian, Randy.
No, it's not at all because I can tell what Lynch is going for.
Sounds like someone else wants Hydraberg to like him.
No, I genuinely
No,
like,
I
was
hate
very
Hydraberg.
yeah. Oh, don't worry.
Fuck right off.
No, that guy can fuck me in the ear. Wait a minute, other way around.
And
Freudian
please
slip,
fuck me
Randy.
in the ear. No, no, but like the look of this movie is pretty fucking interesting, and I liked watching what it was doing. I liked the production value of it, and I found this out after the fact that the director was at this time mostly known for music videos, and I that hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, yeah, of course, like that makes perfect sense. This seems like a music video of that era, just elongated and with not really a great story to infuse there. It really kind of does. I don't know. I respect some of the setup and some of the like conceptually. I'm okay with it. It's a little bit like pulling just a little bit too much from Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe in terms of the nuts and bolts of how these things work. But I think it's okay because it's stylistically so different, and they do kind of like go the extra mile in like explaining how it's supposed to work. But I also don't think that necessarily helps the movie so much. I don't know. I'm torn between thinking they explain too much and they explain too little. You know what I mean? It kind of hits that middle valley where it's, I don't know, they over explain some things that don't necessarily need it, and then they under explain other things.
Yeah, I kind of got that too. Like I didn't necessarily need to know that she was like the only therapist that could do it. Like I've already bought in that she's in somebody's mind. Like I don't need to know that she was like super good at it. I think if they edited this down and it was an X-Files episode or a Black Mirror episode, it would be like a fan favorite episode of either of those franchises, because it would be just like so cool and so memorable for the surrealism and the set design and the costuming. But yeah, it could have benefited from a lot of editing.
Well, what I found weird, I was okay with just the general premises and like, yeah, we're gonna go in the mind, but they try to add this plot. It was an interesting take where, you know, they try to make the killer, this like disgusting human being, very kind of sympathetic in the way of showing his childhood, and she's like trying to pull at that childhood and that personality to save him. But a couple things with that is it's kind of a bold choice to make this serial killer who you have seen abducting women, and then they show like scenes inside of his mind, like torturing people and things like that, as sympathetic. But ultimately it doesn't matter, because that's not how they find the girl. Vince Vaughn sees something in his mind that helps him find the girl. So it's not like the kid gives the answer away, and the kid ultimately dies anyways. There is no salvation, there's no pulling anybody out. And so that felt like very strange to me, to have that like such a weighted point throughout this film for it ultimately to not matter, I guess.
Yeah, it's a bit fruitless for sure. And that is like the main driving point of the movie, is like Jennifer Lopez is trying to befriend this boy so that he will kind of spill the beans as to where the women are being held. And she does seem to gain his trust to some degree, but it doesn't really amount to much of anything. I mean, I don't know. I do think like the lamest part of the movie for me was when Vince Vaughn just sees that little like symbol and is like, oh, I know exactly where they're at now, and then hauls ass. And it's like on a pulley, there was a symbol on a pulley that's in this dude's mind. It just felt like so loose and like it. I don't know, man. I don't know where that plot device came from, but it felt like really lame and hollow.
You know, it's just fucking weird. Like, I can understand to some extent, like they want her to have a story arc that means something, and her story arc is, oh, she watched her brother die of in a coma, couldn't help him, so she's dedicated her life to trying to resolve that, and that's why she's so good at this. And she befriends the child and all that stuff. But like you said, it doesn't really end up mattering to the story so much. It's kind of incidental. And also, like, I don't know. I appreciate that they didn't do the thing I thought they were going to do, which is like tease at the end that Roger, what's his name?
Starger?
That Starger had somehow like infiltrated her mind and gave her like some sort of schizophrenic break of her own or whatever. I thought they were going to do that, and I appreciate they didn't do that, but I kind of thought they'd do something. Like the end,
I thought there was going to
really
be some kind of like face-off body swap thing or something, where in the end we found out that like part of his personality was kind of in her mind or something, to give this like sinister like bum or something, you know, like that. Where part of him was like left on her and it like twisted her mind and distorted her, but they didn't do that either. So
they took a lot of pains to talk about like, oh, okay, you can stay in my mind to the kid, but then ultimately she has to kill the kid because the demon version or whatever is indestructible even in her dreams somehow. That's not really
maybe that is a bit of salvation though. She's able to like, I guess, save the innocent part of this dude by basically putting him out of his misery, because there is no like saving this dude. He's come too far. He's killed too many people. Even if he all of a sudden woke up and was like, you know, I don't want to kill people anymore, I guess, like he'd still just be in jail the rest of his life, like maybe get the electric chair or something. Like it's not, maybe that's the best outcome.
Well, he's also in an unwakeable coma, so even if you save that personality,
right,
he's gonna lay in a bed.
Like, I don't kill him. Like FBI sanctioned killed him. That was the part that I was like, so she'd kill it. Like we're just gonna leave it. It's fine.
Oh, there. And speaking of like that's and leads me to thinking about some of the other things that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Like Vince Vaughn figures out where the girl is and he takes off. Obviously, like that makes sense. Yeah, he's gonna go like try and rescue this woman who's trapped. But like the entire FBI leaves their comatose prisoner.
They say the FBI has left the building.
Yeah, the entire FBI just leaves, and there's just a murderer on a table. Like you're not going to leave somebody to keep watch. Like,
well, also
like,
too,
put a bell on him.
Well, it kind of bothered me in the way of like, I understand you got a race to save this woman, her physical self. Well, it was like this kind of thing where
Make Hank Schrader stay behind.
well, no, yeah, that's the thing is it bothered me because this other woman is also in trouble. Like you're essentially leaving her in a very similar type of situation, but because it's of the mind, it's not as precedent. But they mention like, if you die in the dream, you die in real life. So they just leave this woman to battle it out with this serial killer in her mind after she's already had like trouble to race off to save this other woman. Yeah, that seems like really weird.
Yeah, not a great plan.
And another
sure.
thing, like this tries to do like the Seven Fincher, like not even seven, but like just the procedural detective work stuff. But it does that like somewhat well, like on the stuff that it's like blatantly talking about. But then you think about things like, how did they know to talk to the girl who's missing's mom? Like that they're investigating this killer. What was so similar about this one girl's disappearance from a parking garage?
She's blonde.
That I
Same
guess.
jurisdiction, not enough cops.
Yeah,
I don't understand like that. There's like little things like that. That's like, if you're gonna like, if any part of this movie should make sense, it's the part that's not happening in a goddamn dreamscape. And that's the part that like isn't making as much sense to me.
Yeah, that didn't really bother me. I did find this surprisingly kind of like dark. That just the ideas of how they set all this up, he's taking these women, he's like bleaching their skin and like putting this collar on them and just leaving them to videotape them to drown automatically and then go back and watch it. I found that like kind of an interesting take on the psychology, because I was like, well, is he worried that he's going to feel the sympathy and let them out? Like does he leave them there in an automatic way so he can only deal with like the aftermath of it? And like he is worried that maybe he would give himself up, because they do tease that a little bit, and I wish they explored that more, especially if you're going to get into the psychology of this killer, which can be an interesting idea. But they say things like, I think he wants to be caught, and we do see that in some things where some serial killers, like what was it, like what's his name, Ed Kemper or whatever, said yeah, like I called the police, or I like gave myself up or whatever, and if I hadn't, you wouldn't have caught me. And so this idea of like the guilty conscience on a killer, and then if you could go into that mind, what would that look like and how would that represent, like those are interesting ideas that they just don't build out really, unfortunately.
I think that going into the mind part is really interesting, and they could have done that with any number of sort of serial killer setups. I don't know if we're maybe giving them too much credit with like him watching the videotape of them drowning later because he might be inclined to save them. I feel like it's just like a little bit of like, well, maybe he videotapes him and that's why we can keep him here, but the lady will gonna race against the clock.
I want this guy to be super fucked up. What can we show him doing? Oh, let's have him hang from the goddamn
jerk
ceiling
off over a body.
and jerk off on a bleached body while he watches the drowning footage.
Oh,
yeah.
You guys are being a bit prudish, I think. We've all been there.
Predator
no kink
Bob.
shaming.
Yeah.
It did remind me of like at least 2 Bjork music videos.
Dude, yes.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Bjork literally came to mind when I was watching this movie.
Yeah, pagan poetry, and then little like hooks in the back.
Yeah, she had kind of a Swanish dress at one point too.
Yeah, there's some like yeah.
I like going off the look of this though. There was like, I like the visuals, but there was this kind of like this general sheen of this, or like the kind of color palette or whatever, like was really bothering me. Did it bother anybody else?
In the
like
dream,
the saturation,
or
like just out, like just a general version, but outside, like just when they're like standing around or talking, it had this very like almost the colors were looking like almost like pastel, like it was almost like the saturation was kind of taken out a little bit or something. I don't know. It didn't look good to me. It was kind of bothering.
Well, they definitely hyper saturated the
inside, and I was wondering if they
stuff.
did that on purpose to like really kind of stress that idea. And I think that's why it was bothering me, where I was like, "Ooh, this outside just looks like not normal."
I like that they
Mm.
like hyper saturate it for the D'Onofrio parts, which I do really like. I think he's really good in this, and I love seeing him in costume and just kind of chewing it up. But maybe like I feel like it was very soft too. Like the filter was very soft for when they're in JLo's mind. So maybe that was the pastel-y sort of softness because she's a lady and she's a therapist.
Oh,
The
soft
cherry
focus,
blossom.
Cherry blossoms abound. Yeah,
That's ladies' minds, right?
yeah. I can confirm.
Every woman's mind on earth is like a
Think about
fucking
flowers.
cologne commercial.
I do really like the surrealist look of this. I like surrealism, and I like that they're like literally in kind of a dreamscape. And I think the set design is really cool, and the costuming is the coolest part of the movie.
Mhm.
Not sure about this. I know that so I read that the suits that they wear when they go under are reused from Dracula, and that's why they look so not vascular but muscular.
That makes
That
so
yeah,
much
that
sense.
that does make a
It's
lot
like,
of sense.
why would she have to wear that? That's so. I mean, she looks hot. I'm not even a JLo stan, but she looks hot. But then, like, why would they wear that? And why would Vince Vaughn need one? Like, it's silly.
And
But I
why
do
would they
like the
have
costuming.
one that fits Vince Vaughn? Like he's such
Oh.
a big dude, and I
Somebody
was
else
like, yeah, they
tried to
just got
go
the
in,
suit
but I don't
ready
know.
for
Yeah,
Vince
yeah.
Vaughn.
This
They stretched
8-foot
it out for him.
behemoth.
Lubed him up.
It would be
Put him on it.
awesome if it was too small and it like rode
Oh,
up.
yes, like, right,
He's like
yeah,
had to
yeah.
squeeze into it.
The
Little high water
performances,
pants.
the performances in this, speaking of Vaughn, are a little lackluster. I think. Like I was surprised how much they reined him in. I guess. Like I just didn't. I have a little bit of an aversion to him at this point. But it's
What?
usually when he's like trying to do. It's like when he's doing the smarmy, what we would now recognize as a Ryan Reynolds thing. I don't care for that, and they didn't like really do that here. But they also didn't really sell me on the beleaguered detective who sleeps in the office and is this. But like, I don't know, they didn't really sell that forward, and I don't think he really sold that forward for me.
Well, I
Just
also when he's talking about having been an attorney, like I don't really care about that. Like I'm A,
Yeah.
not buying it. B, like the lady is in the tank. Like you gotta go. I get back to work when they're talking, and I'm like, what are you doing? There's
Yeah,
no
how
time
many
for
days
flirting.
later is this now?
Character building. You gotta buy in. Yeah,
I won't
I
stand
didn't,
for it.
I didn't love that scene either. He's also like talking about this other gruesome murderer that like cut out a little girl's heart, kept it in his freezer, and like that's why he's no longer a DA and like is working for the FBI. It's just like how
It's like,
much
have you
fucked up
heard of
shit-
this molester? And she's like, no.
You
Now that you
haven't?
mention it, yeah.
The best he can do is like, I don't know,
Have you
man. Like,
heard
yeah,
of this
that seems like it seems like you're giving up one hindrance for another by doing that. Like, you're not more equipped to take down bad guys as a detective.
Yeah,
than
I
you
was
are
like,
as
that's a
prosecutor.
Batman origin story. That's like fucking Rorschach background. Not I changed to the FBI.
Like, I just started wanting to punch people more. No, I don't know. Like it just didn't really work, I don't think. And Jennifer Lopez does okay. I don't know. Everybody like is very, very subdued, and I think they're taking this all
she
very
whispers
seriously.
the whole fucking movie. It's
Yeah.
super annoying. I was like, what? I texted my friend Mary, who loves this movie, and I had never seen this. And I was like, does she speak up at any point? And she's like, no, I think she keeps the stupid whisper voice. I was like, man, I don't want to hear that. She's like, what do you mean? And it's like, are you what? Stop. You're at work. Stop with the bedroom voice.
We see her for a second like off duty, and she goes home and she like rolls a joint and like throws on some cartoons, and she lays down on her water bed. I was like, J-Lo is living the fucking life.
Yeah.
She's not on the clock, man. Like that ain't bad.
What was she watching? She was watching something that was familiar to me.
Yeah,
What
it
was it?
is Fantastic Planet.
Oh, Fantastic Planet.
Yeah.
That's
Boy.
right. Which
Yeah,
just
yeah,
seems like, to me, I hesitate to add any further meaning behind that choice besides, well, this is another weird movie
Well, and
with
I
crazy
do-
visuals.
Oh,
I
yeah.
generally like that about this movie is that it is very referential, and I think with a lot of deference and like an homage to other movies, to music videos, which makes sense since he directed music videos, but also to a lot of art. And I do appreciate that. I think it's
Yeah.
cool, and to be able to like sort of go down those rabbit holes and explore, I don't know, different artistic mediums that you might not have otherwise. But that's nicest thing I have to say about it. I don't know.
I can't remember what they were, but I counted at least 3 Twin Peaks references too, like sort of minor
It's
things that were clearly just
Lynchian,
homage.
Randy.
Randy, see,
It's trying to be.
See?
I have
An
it
attempt
right
was
here, actually.
made.
The woman being like wrapped up in plastic wrap and found in the riverbed, like Laura Palmer.
Yeah, that's
was
one for sure.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
call.
And there was
I
a
guess
line in there too that I can't remember, but
There's
on.
a song that Starker sings in the bathtub later.
oh, Mersey Dotes. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
sings
guess Leland-
Mersey Dotes, which is a Leland Palmer thing.
Yeah, and then also there's that scene where I forget who it is. Somebody shot in reverse, and he speaks in reverse, like
Mhm.
that man from another place or whatever.
Mm.
I don't remember that specifically.
That's
but
it.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there was like, a handful of those. I also agree that like I like because they don't feel like they're. It doesn't feel like a crib sheet where he's like building his story off those things. It seems like he's building a visual style out of the artwork and then just sort of making fun references, which I'm down with that. Like that can be grating, but I think he did it with enough cover to where it works. You know, none of it felt super out of place to me. So I give credit for that. I do think that like in trying to build these backstories and trying to make this like a true heightened experience or whatever, they do a lot of like woman in the fridge shit. Like all of the violence that's in this movie is like amped to 11, and I can't tell you a single thing about any other character besides J-Lo and fucking Vince Vaughn. Not one thing. It's
The
I don't know, it's a
intestinal
little
like
thin.
torture device rack thing. I thought that was like an interesting moment in the movie.
I like
Never really
that.
seen
I have
anything quite
Crohn's
like that.
disease, so I was like, same. Like
Oh,
same Vince Vaughn.
yeah.
Shit.
Can relate.
Can't
Mm.
relate. Same, buddy.
That was a cool. I
Yeah.
like too how it later. I kind of wish they did this a little bit more, where he later saw the picture of where that kind of embedded in his mind. I wish there were like moments throughout the film where we're seeing this guy kind of do his thing or set things up, and little hints that we then later see
Yeah.
kind of like
Like Red Dragon-y.
accentuated.
Usual
Yeah.
suspects sort of deal.
Yeah, and because I did like I've kind of been critical. I did like a lot of the mind stuff. It looked really cool. I liked the style. I liked that they were just kind of like taking some like risk and like bold choices here, and like design and just like costumes and just really out there stuff that was like visually very interesting to watch. And I like the connection to the baptism. I thought that was kind of a cool origin story where he was describing it, because I was like, that is horrific to like he's being put underwater and
He
feels
plays
like
with
he's
dolls,
dying.
and he's-
Well, he feels like he's dying, and everyone's just around watching him essentially drowned, where like as a kid he's very confused and very scared and not understanding what the hell's going on, and now that has morphed into this like virus that lives in his mind, where he like has to go back to that moment and like float and stuff. That was a cool connection. I really thought that was actually really well like thought out and made like a ton of sense, and was like horrific at the same time.
And we see that a lot now. Like we've been through a very like trauma is the horror monster in horror movies
Mhm.
lately. And I feel like that there's touches of that with the baptism stuff. And I do think that's cool.
Mhm.
And shout out the little brother from Lizzie McGuire for playing that kid very well.
I knew I recognized
Yeah,
that kid.
Yeah.
God damn. Well,
So yeah.
yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
solid.
It's just kind of like thin in the plot department and overworked in the plot department at the same time in different spots. And it just feels like I agree that Stogger, whatever, Roger, whatever his name is, he
Nailed it.
has the
My guy.
strongest, he has the strongest story behind him, and a lot of that is just like I don't understand like how like he starts how the women like he hates women, needs like he just wants them to be dolls, I guess. Like it's very thin. It kind of feels like the same kind of justifications you would get in like a medium schlocky 70s psychodrama, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the production value sells it as much as it can, but there's a cap to that, I think. At
Yeah.
least in
That
this movie.
cap is the same cap of a Tool music video or a Nine Inch Nails music video.
REM, Little Tori
Yep.
Amos. Yeah, it's the whole
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah.
Something I found pretty interesting was the soundtrack of this movie. It was like really eclectic and like all over the place. It was very like noisy. And it
Howard
definitely
Shore.
made you feel kind of like you're in like a serial killer's mind where like it's going a mile a minute, like bouncing from like point to point, shit's just going nuts. I thought that was like a really nice touch. Like as soon as the movie starts too, you're seeing like this really beautiful imagery, but the audio is just going buck wild. It's kind of like a nice juxtaposition there. I thought worked out for me.
You know, I kind of thought, that was Howard Shore, by the way, who's like incredibly famous for his Lord of the Rings stuff, a lot of Cronenberg shit, including Crimes of the Future. I like that part. Like, I liked what he was doing. I could understand what he was trying to do as far as like, you know, setting tone or whatever. But I hated all that noise in the moment. I was like, please let this axe drop finally. Let it cut away and there be a smash cut, whatever's coming next, and that's what happened. So I don't know, just a small quibble there. I had something else I was going to say, but it'll come back to me. That's
yeah, there's definitely some like H.R. Geiger influences as well as like the music video stuff happening. I think the idea of like having the horse all chopped up was cool, but man, that CGI does not hold up.
That was a cool idea, though. That was a cool scene of like splitting it and it still be kind of like opera, but I didn't kind of get it. Like about what it's supposed to represent. It was a cool visual to step into somebody's mind, but I was like, what the fuck does this horse have to do with anything?
I felt like it was mostly just like a sort of dreamscapey sort of, I don't know. And then we see it later, the Hannibal TV show did it. I know it's based off the work of Geiger, but I'd like to think that maybe the Hannibal writers were pulling from 2000's The Cell. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I did like that. I did like that, and I don't know. It's a little more like easy for me to forgive some of the wacky CGI when you're supposed to be in a surreal landscape anyways. When things are supposed to kind of look crazy, it makes wonky things like a little more acceptable, I guess.
The
so
colors, Duke, the colors.
Exactly, yeah. But because it was a weird thing too. Actually, thinking about now, I'm wondering if it had something to do with the fact that Jennifer Lopez was going into his mind, and that was kind of like him teasing her, because when she's in the kid's mind, there's also a horse situation involved too, where he offers her up a horse and she's like, oh, thank you. And then as soon as she goes into this other guy's mind, he offers her up a horse, but then immediately destroys it. So that could be.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I thought that too. There's no like nuts and bolts reason to think that necessarily, besides like from a screenwriting perspective, like it's a callback that you can make is like, oh, this is not the same situation as your kid was. The original kid was in Leonard or whoever the kid was. But I also like thought that that kid was going to factor in more. Like it was really like, for some reason I thought maybe somehow or other, like the three of them would be put under at the same time. And the kid would like talk with the other kid, and it would like help heal both of them at the same time, and this movie would end with her helping the other kid and sacrificing the guy who had already gone too far. Basically 2 phases of life sort of thing. But they didn't really do that either, and like I feel like this movie kind of sputtered to a stop because of that. There's just kind of like ends up being 2 distinctive threads that kind of cross at one point and then go off in their separate ways, and they just kind of wrap it up by having one scene where J-Lo and Vince Vaughn just talk for a second about like, I think I'm gonna go do this. Okay, I'm gonna keep investigating.
A really weird hug. I was like, all right.
Man, the chemistry.
Okay.
Ooh, my screen was melting.
Yeah. I just them as characters and their interaction as a relationship, or not a relationship, but just like their interactions, like who they're supposed to be as people, just didn't really. It wasn't interesting. It just, I don't know, it didn't really matter much. I agree that both their performances were pretty lackluster. Okay, fine, but nothing amazing and kind of lacking in general. But yeah, I don't
D'Onofrio
know.
was good though. I mean, I want to give him
Yeah,
kudos 'cause
he was.
he tore it up.
He's all right. I
Yeah.
prefer my D'Onofrio in an Edgar suit, but this is a half decent substitute.
Don't we all?
I love him in anything. I love to
He's
see him.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a great presence, and
Hmm.
I don't know. At first, I was like, why are they using a different actor to be the king? And I get it. He's like this sort of like evil incarnation, or like the evil sort of
Mm.
spirit within him. And I'm glad that they used him because he was great. But at first,
I wish
was
they
like,
could.
"What?"
Oh, sorry.
No, yeah.
I wish they could have done something about his damn wig, though. That thing was looking rough.
Yeah. Dude, when he had like the devil horns that were just like just pasted
Hair.
clearly just with like Elmer's glue. Yeah, like oh man, that looks rough.
Especially because
Yeah.
the costuming was really elaborate for the in other regards. But
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
plop down.
Mhm.
Yeah, not ideal. Yeah. Now,
I wish
any-
there
any
was
other
like
major
some.
points?
Well, I kind of now thinking back, I wish that again, this is kind of back to a critique I made before, but I wish there were some inspirations in like journals or something. They found drawings of like
Mm.
what we ultimately see in his mind. Like, why does he look like that kind of king? Like they call it a king, but I mean the way it's designed and stuff is very unique. And so I don't know. I kind of wish we had a little more inspiration for that kind of stuff. But
Like they could have done a thing in this where like Vince Vaughn discovers something. First of all, get a longer period on that ticking clock for the woman in the cell.
mm,
The movie title.
yeah,
and,
like a week or something.
Yeah, give it a week or whatever, and like, oh, he finds something out, and then goes back to the scene of the crime or whatever, like his house, and start digging through his journals and like pieces something together that way that can then help Jennifer Lopez as she is back in forcing herself back under.
Yeah.
And the colleagues call him. Somehow he finds out and he's like, oh, I know just the thing or whatever, and he can help her while also simultaneously going to rescue this other woman. Like that would have at least like put some symbiotic nature towards the end instead of sort of like just trailing off in different directions.
Yeah.
But
Something a little more illuminating than like a GE logo tipping him off.
Oh shit, GE. They're behind.
Now I got it.
I know this model of hydraulic press for
Yeah.
some reason.
Before the internet could tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go and rate this thing out of 5. Caitlin, why don't you do us the honors and kick us off? How do you feel about The Cell?
Man, I don't know. I do really like parts of this. Most of them are visual. And I'm trying not to let my like J-Lo hatred taint my whole view of the movie. But she wasn't very good in this either. It's not like not a personal vendetta. It's just keeping it purely professional. J-Lo, you suck.
Sure.
Personal vendetta.
I think I'll go with a 3.
All right. 3 from Caitlin sounds pretty fair. Randeezy, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of critiques about this movie. This movie is like sort of the style over substance thing, but recently I've been like watching a lot of movies that are like more style and interpretation than anything. So I kind of feel like bad giving it that ding, except that it is trying to give the substance to. It's trying to tell you like what the story is. It's clear that they want an emotional weight to it, and they're going to great lengths to try and build that out of dead ladies' parts, essentially. But it just doesn't really work. The performances don't work. The backstories don't work for most part. And so like I think that what this movie ends up being is just like we were talking about earlier, like David Lynch, like I can watch Eraserhead and I know what I feel about it, and I also can understand the point of view of it. I don't know that I understand the point of view of this movie other than wouldn't it be fucked up to go in a serial killer's brain? And like I think that's kind of where it begins and ends. And the best parts about it are, like Caitlin said, all visual, which in fairness, some of that shit's really great. And I was down for it. Even the stuff that ends up kind of silly, it's justified within the text of the movie and in a good way. Like it's one of the reasons not Friday the 13th. Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my like preferred slashers because it does those sort of like absurd high concept things. I like the premise, I guess. It's just kind of whiffs in a lot of other categories. So for me, I think it's about a 2.25. I'm gonna give it that.
2.25 from your boy Randeezy.
Bob,
Juice,
out of
okay.
5. You always have to go last. Out of 5, how did you feel about The Cell?
Yeah, it's okay. It's a decent watch. I mean, it's like a 90-minute music video starring Jennifer Lopez and Vince Vaughn, and like a bunch of crazy visuals are going on and some crazy ass soundtracks happening. And you don't see a ton of D'Onofrio in like the real world, but I think the bit that you see him in, he's pretty damn scary, pretty horrific. Whenever you enter like the dream sequences, I think it's far less scary, but you got the visuals there to kind of carry you along. There's a couple like torture scenes. I mean, the guts being ripped out was definitely very memorable. Also, J-Lo rips off this like crazy huge like nipple clamp situation from the king's chest that looks like really fucking painful. I'm down with like just the general idea of like trying to go inside of like a serial killer's mind and like try and save one of his victims. It's like it's a cool conceit for a movie. They don't fully cash in on the idea, but overall, I definitely think it's a very serviceable movie. Some of the CG definitely is dated, but I think it's overall okay. I'm gonna land with a 3 out of 5 as well here. Juice, what about you?
All right, I'm gonna echo Bob and Caitlin and say 3 as well. I agree that it sets up some good ideas. I wish some of the ideas of the kind of innocence of this killer were explored more in like a deeper kind of way, because that's interesting, an interesting path to take. I wish they had maybe added a little more dread or just something going on in the actual mind. I liked the visuals a lot. It was some cool ideas. I think the performances are mostly pretty stale. I didn't like the look of the outside scenes. The detective work kind of like fell a little flat and stuff like that. So mostly just kind of echoing what you guys said. It's like good in some places. The ending really fell flat for me. I think you could come up with like a ton of different endings that would at least leave it a little more ambiguous or interesting or dreadful. Like for instance, another thing we talked about, if the mind of the guy was imprinted on Jennifer Lopez, but also if she goes back into the mind of this kid who's in a coma, and like the serial killer lives that way and like goes home with his family, and like I don't know, there's just like a couple avenues you could take, because they didn't even really resolve the story of the first kid in the coma. She's like, I'm gonna go back and see if I could work it out. Like it kind of seems like maybe she died. I don't know. It just, the ending was not great to me, and that awkward ass hug, and it just, I don't know, it's weird. So yeah, but like the mind section's really what kind of like shine for me, the designs, the look, and just how that's all kind of pieced together. So I will also echo, a 3 out of 5.
Right on. That's going to put our aggregate at a 2.8. And we do have a voicemail from your boy Hydraberg calling in with his thoughts and his own rating for The Cell. So let's hear what he's got to say.
What's going on, fellas? It's your boy Hydraberg. I'm just calling in to drop a quick review for my Patreon pick this week. The Cell, starring Jenny from the Block, Vince Vaughn, and Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah, it's a 2000s film. It's saw it in the theater, and I've just always loved the imagery of the film. It's not the deepest film. It's not the most well acted film, but overall, I do think it deals with some interesting themes of like nightmare logic or dreamscapes, and I don't know, like psyche and mental illness and things of that nature, and like the instrument to go into someone's dream or mind is it's super interesting. I like the way it's handled for the most part. Some of the CGI doesn't hold up 100%. For the most part, I think it's very good. The costume design and set design are fantastic. Vincent D'Onofrio is definitely the highlight, in my opinion. His character is just, when they're inside his mind, it's just so, he's just like so fucking evil looking. Kind of wish there was more of that. And his character on the outside definitely has some issues too. He's not like 100% like a total shithead. You could see kind of why he became the guy he is. He's definitely a cooter though. You know, anybody that hangs themselves upside down or up, you know, flat over their body, their victim, and jerks off on them, that's just weird. Overall, J-Lo, she's not the best actress, obviously. I think she does a decent job with the role. I like Vince Vaughn in comedies. I don't necessarily like him when he's super serious. I think he kind of drops the ball in this one too. He's just not that, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Some of his lines are cringy. Like the other detectives seem like they're actually detectives, and he just seems like an actor playing a detective. I don't know. Like the score is pretty good overall. I think it stands out mostly for its imagery, though. Like everybody remembers the poster art and some of the images from the commercials. I think, you know, it's not the best movie, but I thought it might make an interesting conversation. And there are some definite elements of horror to it that I enjoy. Even if they remade it, it would be interesting to see what they do with it nowadays. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I hope it sparked somewhat of a good conversation though, and I hope you at least mentioned J-Lo's great ass at least once. Other than that, you know, just thanks for you know, reviewing it, and just keep chilling. Later.
Wait, did he give his number score? Did I miss it?
So he forgot to say it in the
Okay.
voicemail, but he hit me up and said he gave it a 2.5 out of 5.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
So there
You
you
know,
go.
I'm so
that's an interesting
relieved.
idea.
Yeah.
That's an interesting idea. I thought about like a remake as well, but I
did
also
think
kind
about
of
that too. Yeah.
I wondered, like, I had this like fantasy scenario in my head at one
Whoa.
point where I was like, what would this be like if it was made like in the 70s? Like, it's kind of got, like I said, sort of like this premise, at least the emotional core of the premise is a little bit like kind of like schlocky 70s sort of thing, psychodrama stuff. What if this was actually made in the 70s and they sold that forward a little bit, and then had them in like sensory deprivation tanks or something instead, and then they used like all these, I don't know. I kind of think maybe that would hold up better. I think looking back at it now with that, thinking of it that way, I wonder if the CG and stuff and like the star, quote unquote, star power of it are like some of the bigger detriments to this movie.
And what if David Lynch directed it?
It would be better.
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably. Yeah, thanks for picking this week's flick, Heidelberg. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah,
for
thanks to
dropping some
Heidelberg.
knowledge.
Shouts out. I
Thanks,
still
Bergie.
don't think that Heidelberg has ever been defeated in the You Pick the Flick. I think anytime that man wants a You Pick the Flick, he gets a You Pick the Flick. So shouts outs to him.
He's pretty good, man. He's quick with the
Yeah.
draw.
He taught somebody else how to get one too. I think Naderade was it. He like went through the Heidelberg core. He's gonna start charging Slack members for the how
Dude,
to.
if he
the
started-
how-to guide.
Dude, people are going to end up paying like $500 for a pick, but still we're getting 25.
Still, yeah. God damn.
That's
Hustling.
capitalism, baby.
Yeah.
That
That's what it is.
aftermarket straight chilling you picks are going
Those
for
Guess we're
brokers
just
just
gonna have to
inflating the
start
price.
charging $500 then, you know.
And I'll
Yeah,
finally
do
get
it.
raw.
But yeah,
Finally.
it's retired.
No,
We'll
no,
never
no.
cover it on the on Straight
Hey.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment, see what the critics and users think about The Cell.
Certified fresh to death.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment. For those uninitiated, this is a segment in which I'm going to have these folks guess within the best of their abilities what the critics and users' aggregate positive scores are on RottenTomatoes.com. We're going to start, as we always do, with the critic score. There's 164 total critic scores here. what percentage do we think are positive? Start with Caitlin. Caitlin, what do you think the aggregate is going to be for that?
Before I tell you, I want to say that I've been on the show twice before, and I've won this segment both times.
Oh shit!
A
Both
lot's
like
riding
a
on
sweep,
this.
So-
a sweep.
You're
both
really
times.
talking shit to start.
What?
And I know,
Let me
and
cheat
I'm
real quick.
what? So I hadn't known that. I mean, I knew about this movie beforehand, but I, wasn't super familiar with it. It seems like a lot of the friends that I talked to that I was going to do this, and we were talking about the cell, they love it. But then I was like, but those are my friends. I don't know. I don't know if like in general people love
Wow.
this movie.
Really throwing your friends under the bus there.
Look,
They're
they don't always have the
weirdos.
best taste. We like Twilight. It's not refined over here. So I really don't know. I'm gonna go 60.
60. All right. Soju, how about you?
Yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of a hard one to place. Since I never watched it, I don't really know much about it and like its reputation. And so I think I'm just gonna take 69 dudes, please.
69 dudes. All right. Bob, round us out. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I don't see this as being a critical darling. How low do I go? I'll take the under with a 56.
56. All right. Doing
Kaylin,
some
you're
quick
sandwiched
math.
between me and Bob. Let's see. It's a good spot to be.
Don't I know?
Bob. Bob.
Yes. Yes.
You broke the streak, baby.
Damn it, Bob.
Oh,
45%.
Oh,
Whoa. Whoa.
So low.
Damn.
damn.
I am shocked you guys are
Yeah.
shocked.
Well, really? That's pretty low.
I
Sorry,
don't-
Caitlin.
I don't
It's
think
fine,
so.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, we're gonna start in reverse
You
for the
jinxed it.
audience score. Bob, we're gonna start with you. Why do you think that? I'm sorry, there are over 100,000 ratings for this for the audience.
Damn.
So, what do you think
Jesus.
that aggregate is?
I think it's going to bring the score up a little bit just by the numbers. And there's got to be some J-Lo stands for sure that are just loving
Oh,
whatever she's doing.
Idiots.
Uh, maybe the haters will balance it out. They'll just cancel each other out. Actually.
We often do.
So I'll take a. I'll take a 62. Let's get crazy.
62. What are you, out of your mind?
Yes.
Juice, we're gonna go back to you. What do you think?
I feel like that's a pretty good guess. I don't know. For some reason, I want this movie to be rated kind of higher. I think I'll double down on my 69 dudes. I think the viewers will kind of like this more than critics.
All right. And Caitlin, round us out. See if you can get Redemption Song here.
Oh God. I'm gonna stick with 60 just because I don't
60.
know.
All right. Bob. This has nothing to
Yes.
do with you. Caitlin, congratulations.
Whoa!
57%.
Yeah.
Very
Oh
close.
shit!
You cut Rob off at the knees for this one in retribution.
Take
Damn it.
that, Bob.
The critics'
I
consensus.
love to see
Smoked
Bob
him.
lose.
What a healthy friendship we have.
It's not a friendship if you're not rooting for them to just like eat shit a
Eat
little
shit,
bit.
Bob.
I just want you to eat a little shit. What's wrong with
Just
that?
a little bit.
Bob, that's just my.
Nibbling.
It just
on
gets me
little pieces
excited
of
to watch
shit.
you eat a little shit.
I want you to nibble on some little
Physically
pieces of shit.
aroused.
Whoa, Bob, you're taking it too
Look at
far.
my nipples.
Yeah, nibble on that shit. Oh yeah, a little slower though. A little slower. Yeah.
The critics' consensus
Save that
reads
for
as
Freaky
follows.
Friday, Bob. That's for the OnlyFans.
The critics' consensus reads as follows. The Cell offers disturbing, stunning eye candy, but its visual pleasures are no match for a confused storyline that undermines the movie's inventive aesthetic. I don't think that's too far off, to be honest.
Yeah.
And any qualms with that? No.
Yeah.
And as we,
Solid.
Yeah, keep rolling. Yeah.
okay, keep rolling. All right, as we always do, we're going to read some negative reviews and hope that they are humorous because they tend to be sometimes. Here's one. Ultimately, the reliance on a dream world tends to reduce suspense and even narrative logic. Thus, everything is possible and nothing is necessary. I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah.
There's plenty of movies that use dream worlds much better than this one. So, and dream logic and so on. I don't know. That's
Like
not funny. It's
David
just-
Lynch.
Okay. Oh
my
That needs
God.
to be a new soundbite. Like we need to add it to the soundboard. Like
Uh-oh.
David Lynch.
Randy's talking about art. Wank, 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 wank.
Dumb.
Fucking loser. Put on the new Fast movie.
Fast X.
Here's another random negative review. The Cell is pretty silly, but I admired its cinematic ambition until the final scenes. That's fine. God damn it. Why is
None
nobody
of these
funny
are
about this movie? It would be so easy to be funny about this movie, you would think. Here's a user review, 1 star. Too confusing and boring to care much about. All right.
Aw,
I
that's
give
it.
up.
You tried,
Give up.
Randy.
I gave it 3
Nailed
shots.
it.
Yeah.
Yep. That
All
is
right. That's the end of
okay.
Rotten Maters.
All right. I got a little more trivia. Let's hit that up real quick.
It's totally time for trivia.
So apparently your boy Vincent D'Onofrio admitted that his wife refused to sleep with him in the same bed for 2 weeks after seeing his performance in this movie.
Ooh,
Okay.
Weak.
wow. You think it's because of this movie, Vincent?
They must
Are you sure?
they must be pretty vanilla, if you ask me.
I know. That sounds vanilla as fuck.
She was like, I loved your nipples and you
Honey.
tore them off.
Honey, I booked that part in Solo. I can't wait.
Oh, oh God.
Oh God.
Speaking of fucked up shit in this movie, the scene where he jerks off on the corpse was cut from the original release of the movie, and then it was put back in on the 2015 US Blu-ray release.
Thank
So they
God.
added a couple necessary minutes to the runtime.
Couple minutes.
Yeah,
Damn.
He's a motherfucking minute man, and you know it.
motherfucking Minute Man. In case you didn't know, the brain disorder Carl suffers from, Wayland's infraction, is fictional and was created for this movie.
What?
Yeah.
People don't
Wayland's
just
infraction.
fall into
That's
unwakeable
not true.
comas.
I have that.
Guys, I'm in a coma right
Am
now.
I in your life right now? Caleb?
We're in the Matrix, Randy.
Oh my God.
Like David Lynch.
No.
We're so deep on this podcast.
No, he
shit.
meditates. It's not a coma.
Shit. Apparently eats salmon every day or something. I was watching some random
What?
soundbite.
I
I don't know.
didn't know
Yeah, I
His
don't know.
mercury levels
That's
are
a
through
ding
the
for me.
roof.
I'm not a salmon
Through
man.
the roof.
This guy, he's just feasting on mercury day and night.
This guy bleeds mercury.
Yes. Goddamn thermometer over here. One of the more positive reviews for the movie was actually from Roger Ebert. He said this was in his top 10 favorite movies of the year 2000, which
Oh.
I'm surprised by that, actually.
I would
I
love
don't
to
know
see
what else
is
came
on.
out in 2000.
Mhm.
Yeah, 99 was a big year, but 2000, I don't
Dracula 2000 came out.
No.
which-
Well,
Dracula.
Did it
Almost
actually
Famous,
come out in
Wonder
that year?
Boys,
I
Traffic,
don't know. Probably.
I don't think
Probably
it
not.
did.
High Fidelity,
I don't
Pollock.
know.
Eh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
Yeah.
a lot coming
Scary
out.
movie. Mm.
Whoa.
Oh, wow. Ebert didn't like
Ooh.
that?
I know.
Gosh.
Gosh. What's
Requiem
the
for a
deal?
Dream came out that
My
year.
boy.
Well, damn. 2000 was a rough year.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Bring it
also
on.
ranked below The Cell. So is
American
so is
Psycho.
fucking
Oh yeah,
not on the
That's a
list.
good one.
Requiem for a Dream below.
Hmm.
yeah. Wow.
High Fidelity
Tough one.
below.
Hollow Mang.
Dude,
Whoa.
High Fidelity kind of blows, I'll be honest with you.
Unbreakable.
Fine,
There you go. Talking Shyamalan.
That's a good one, yeah. I
Wait,
got a little more trivia if you
trivia.
Yeah,
keep,
yeah.
keep naming movies.
Nope.
Let's keep naming movies.
The torture device pulling out Vincent's guts, that was a real thing. The small intestine, I guess, was separated from the bottom of the stomach with a hook and attached to a crank. Slowly, the crank would turn, pulling out the intestine from the gut inch by inch, and that you would pull out, I guess, somewhere between 9 to 18 feet worth of intestines. Generally, is what you would expect to see. So
That
sounds
fucked up.
like fun. This was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Makeup. So, bam.
Cool.
Finally, I
sense.
have. There was a sequel released direct to DVD on June 16th, 2009. The story centers on The Cusp, which is a serial killer who murders his victims and then brings them back to life over and over again until they beg to die.
Okay.
Anybody seen that?
What is it called?
I don't actually know what it's called. Well, it says the story centers on a murderer called The Cusp. Maybe it's called The Cusp. Maybe it's called The Cell 2.
Deuce?
I don't know. Not included in the trivia that I have. So
I will
it's
look
very,
it up.
very thorough.
All right.
There is a movie called The Cell 2 from 2009.
There
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
direct to video sequel to the 2000 film The Cell. So it's just called The Cell Deuce.
The Cell Deuce. You heard it here, folks. I'll be mailing one
It
of those
does
out
not
every
have
week, too.
good. It does not have good reviews.
What?
Get out of
What?
town.
I know.
I
I
don't believe that at
know.
all.
I know.
Does it star Britney Spears or something?
No.
I'm
Did they
not
skip
watching
the
it.
Got a
did they
bunch of
skip on the albino
people that
dog?
I've never. I don't recognize their names.
How shocking.
Amy Walden. I don't know.
All right.
Let's tag her.
That's
Tag
all the
her in the
trivia I got.
post.
Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and jump into Cooter of the Week.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
This ought to be short.
Yeah, Juice, what's Cooter? Why don't we hunt him?
Ho! Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Shouts outs to
Turned into Michael
Nicole.
Jackson for a second.
Shouts outs to Nicole for filling in so well for me last week. The 5
Mhm.
points of Cooterdom or Cooter's character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Did I say that? Yeah.
Oh, we got to get Nicole back. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you're
You've been
Cooter
replaced,
really
usurped.
Cooter has to hit 3 of these 5 points to be considered a Cooter, but we want the Cooter with the most points. The 5 points of Cooterdom are Caitlin's going to tell us. Caitlin, on blast. Go.
Oh no! Oh god.
Just so you're under the bus.
Rude.
Now, are sexual deviance, manipulation, smug arrogance, overall looking attire, and overall patheticness. Do we
Patheticness,
have?
Yeah.
Do we have a patheticness? Do we have a?
I knew it. I said it before you.
I said it before. I knew it the whole time.
Do we have a Cooter in the cell? Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, I think probably so. Yes.
All right,
yes.
let's talk about my guy. What's his name?
Rogstogger.
D'Onofrio.
Burger.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
God.
Egger.
that guy, the
Egger.
Egger suit. So sexual deviance, check. I mean, I know there's a ton of people out there who get their jollies off by floating, over a corpse and jerking it off. But
Floating-
I might
floating is
just
not
be
quite
a
accurate.
good, church going Southern man, but I
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't think that that's a.
Oh yeah.
I always say that about you, buddy.
Yeah. I
Oh,
just
yeah.
don't think that's appropriate. So I'm
Sweet tea gets me going.
I really don't think it's
These
appropriate to do
corpses.
these sorts of things at your place of business. It's just uncouth.
take it home, okay?
HR's gonna hear about this.
So yeah, sexual deviance, check. Manipulation. Well, he doesn't. So if he were like tricking these women like into his car or something, but he really just kind of but he just like, well, okay, he uses
tra-
the
He uses
dog.
the dog. He trained the
He uses
dog
the dog,
for purposes
that's
of
right.
kidnapping.
I forgot about that. I thought he was just like going up behind him in the garage and just
I
capturing
mean, he
him,
kind of
but-
does, but he uses
yeah.
that as a
He
distraction.
does use
It's
the
a-
dog,
it's a
Manipulates.
plan.
He at least
It is a
manipulates
plan.
his dog.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
he
manipulation
uses the
isn't just
dog
lying
as
to people, it's also,
manipulation.
like,
yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
He's manipulating
creating a scenario where you get what
situation.
you want.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I was
so
serious.
so check.
Rob.
Arrogance, smug arrogance. He makes himself a king, and
He's
you-
a little
so
bit of a
yes.
god form.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think so.
I think maybe that's a sign. that you're a
Yeah,
little
of
bit
arrogance.
smug.
Check. Overall look and attire. We got some crazy costumes going on in here. Which one are we gonna knock them for overall look and attire? What are we thinking?
Mm. Nipple clamp costume. That's kind of
Nipple
cool though.
clamps? Whoa, no kink shaming. Okay.
Hey,
I think
I-
those,
Elmer's blue devil
yeah, the
kill
horns.
me.
The blue
Yeah.
devil horns. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's like, okay.
Satan. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Wow.
Party
I'll give you
City.
that
That's
one.
fine.
Get Party City.
Mr. Badass over here, the devil.
It reminds me of that King of the Hill episode where Bobby hangs out with a bunch of dorks who are in a
Oh
coven.
god, yeah.
I love that.
And they
shit.
won't drink the dog's blood.
Oh my
The
god.
coven of
They-
Artemis.
And overall patheticness, what pathetic moment do we have in this movie?
Where he
Um,
jerks off of
Yeah, I guess where, yeah, you can't just jerk off
His
like a
whole
normal
existence is
guy,
pretty
come on.
pathetic. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh,
How often are
real
you gonna hear-
heteronormative on me now? Huh? Huh?
How often are you going to hear someone chuckle as I say when he jerks off on the corner?
Hey, you never know.
Often,
On this
probably.
podcast daily.
Listen, I'm
Oh,
researching
shit.
necrophilia for Plug It Up right now, and I was like, I can't keep
Oh,
searching this
no.
shit. Like,
Whoa,
it's
damn, that's
Got my- gonna get on a list.
Oh my
yeah,
god.
no,
that's
yeah.
intense. So yes, I think he hits all 5 points. Book him.
Hey, we
Got him.
got him.
We got
Your
him.
boy Dean Ostrio.
And we didn't need to know what kind of fucking equipment he's on to do it.
Yes.
So yeah, let's go ahead and let our hair down, kick our feet up, talk about what we've been watching this week.
Hey gang, what you been watching?
Caitlin, why don't you kick us off? What you been watching?
Well, I saw Infinity Pool in the theaters twice. I haven't seen a movie in theaters twice in a long time, but I saw it with a buddy of mine, and then I was like, my partner Mara's gonna love this. So I took them last night, and they did love it. In fact, at one point they turned to me and they're like, I love this movie. I was like, I know. I
I'm so
knew it.
hot right now.
And I was like, ew. Just kidding. I watched Tar. I haven't kept up with any of the Academy Award stuff, but I did watch that, and I didn't like it very much. I don't know.
Oh.
I didn't like it. I mean, the look of it was cool. Kate Blanchett in a tailored suit. I was like, I want to pull that off. But yeah, it didn't land for me. Randy. On Plug It Up this week, I'm recording on Contracted from 2013. So I watched Contracted and Contracted Phase 2. If any of y'all remember that one. You know,
I didn't
zombie
know there was a
STD
phase
movie.
2.
Never seen
They're
them.
both on Tubi.
Oh, okay.
Good old
I
Tubi.
like Contracted decently. Watched Ready or Not recently, also for podcast purposes. Rewatched Rec 3,
Hmm.
an old wedding. And I've watched it before, but I started Don't Worry Darling before we started recording, and I'll have to finish it up. I'm gonna be podcasting on that one next week. So
Don't
All
worry.
right.
Wait, don't worry. Oh yeah, that was the one that came out last year. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not great.
The one that
Yeah.
seems
The one
to
that
be
sucks.
the one that seems to be widely discarded and mostly known for the backstage drama.
Yeah. And
Oh,
just
really?
awful dialogue. Just like the worst dialogue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Watch it now on HBO.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Endorsed.
Awesome. That's a solid ass list of shit. Randeezy, what you been watching?
Yeah. Well, when I said that I been watching some weird shit recently, I was not kidding.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Got a chance to watch The Outwaters, the
Oh, yeah.
small release that it has. It's streaming release is forthcoming. I'm going to reserve comment on that because I have an intention to do a mini episode
What?
soon. So keep an ear out for that, patrons. Next, I also got to rewatch Possession. It's the first time in a long time I got to rewatch got to watch. This is actually the first time I've rewatched Possession. I've only seen it the one time, and man, I forgot how like the performances are so up to 11 the entire fucking movie, and like, man, that I really like that movie, but it has to be taken in its totality to really appreciate it. I think I was watching with Becky, and Beck was like, I don't know how to feel about this movie. It's like, it seems like they're overacting, but I'm kind of fascinated anyway, something like that. And
That's the one
yeah,
from the 80s, right? 81.
Yeah, Sam Neill.
That's what.
Man,
Naderey was
Isabella.
watching that.
Oh.
G Baby covered it too. So
Yeah, it came up recently, which is what
it.
made me want to see it. Yeah, it's on Shudder. It's the first time it's been streaming in a while, I think.
Okay.
And then I also got to watch I watched the second episode of Junji Ito's Maniac, which I think I liked a little bit better, but it was like a 2-segment episode, as opposed to just one long segment. It was 2 like 15-minute episodes basically. And I definitely did not like the second one as much, but the first one, that hit me right. It felt like a true Junji Ito story to me. It wasn't quite so humorous as the first episode was. There wasn't quite as much humor infusion, which is fine, but it just wasn't what I was hoping for. And then the second part of that episode was a little bit like just kind of dumb, fun, but kind of dumb. I'm gonna keep watching it though. I think it's entertaining regardless, and it's got pretty good animation for what it is. Not world class, and certainly not as high end as what they're trying to pull off on Adult Swim with Uzumaki, but that may never come out. Who knows? It's been like delayed 3 years or some shit. Let's see. I also watched Joe Bob Briggs' first feature, The Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. It was the first time watch for me, and I quite liked it. I thought it was dumb in all the right ways. Sherman Oaks Mall was a welcome revisit. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I also started, but I have not finished, a short documentary called In Search of All-American Massacre, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre sequel that never was, basically, or was filmed and is now lost media in some capacity.
Filmed
featuring
when?
Chop Top Mosley. Filmed I want to say early 90s, late 80s, something like that. It was like somehow or other,
So
it was
after
like,
2
you know what?
was
let
filmed.
me look that up. I don't want to misspeak.
Okay.
But it was like they had a website for it and everything with clips and shit like that, and it was on Flash, and now it's just gone, and it just never came
What the
out. And
fuck?
I haven't gotten to the end, so I don't know what the status is. Maybe it's not lost anymore. It was actually 2000, it says here.
Oh,
So I got my dates all fucked up. Anyway,
probably not good then.
Probably
I'm
not.
less excited now.
Oh, it didn't instill a lot of faith for me watching it, especially because it's more of a direct sequel to Texas Chainsaw 2, which I know that this podcast has a few mixed feelings on. Yeah, so that's that. I'm gonna finish that up too. Also got the new Game Boy service on the Switch that they released this week, so I got to play Mario Land 2 for the first time, and that was very fun for about 2 hours, which is all it takes to finish. And then I started a Zelda game, which I've never played before, and I'm a big Zelda dork. Minish Cap is available on a Game Boy Advance, and I have never gotten to play that one. I was a big fan of all the other Capcom Zelda games, and that one is shaping up to be about the same. So those, and then of course the big game, and that's it for me.
Awesome. Juice, what you been watching?
Oh, so many things, my guy, because I missed a week and I had a 15-hour plane ride. So I watched The Woman King. Thought that was pretty solid. Liked it pretty good. I watched Black Panther Wakanda Forever, finally. That was okay. All Quiet on the Western Front, finally finished. Super bleak, but quality. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. That was mildly entertaining and a little ridiculous over the top. I watched The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Kind of mixed on that one, honestly. I mostly liked it. Positive on it. Positive, but, a little mixed. Watched The Hunt for Red October for the first time. That movie is very boring and fascinating at the same time. Yeah, so I have like no nostalgia like value to it or whatever. I was just curious. I was like, oh shit, I've never seen this. I think it is hilarious that it's like what Tim Curry and what's the James Bond, what's that dude's name? God damn
Daniel
it.
Craig?
No, Sean Connery. Goddamn. Sean Connery are like the lead Russians, like people with the most and like Sam Neill, Sean Connery, and Tim Curry are the lead Russian people. That shit was
Wow.
hilarious to me. So
There's
yeah,
a lot
that
of
was-
strong accents already in the
Mhm.
mix. which
Yeah.
makes it
yeah,
way better.
exactly. So Kubo and the Two Strings, I had never seen that before. It
Ooh,
was
that one rules.
wonderful. Yeah. I watched The Phantom Thread, which was long and pretty good. And then also watched Licorice Pizza. So I knocked out two Paul Thomas Anderson films. Licorice Pizza was kind of weird because it's about this 25-year-old woman who dates a 15-year-old boy in the 70s. So I guess that's okay.
Don't like that.
It was kind of weird. I was like, is this really the premise? And it was. I watched The Fifth Element because that is an upcoming Creature Comforts that I'll be filming very soon with the very special guest. It's been a while since I've seen that movie. It's wild. And that's all for now. I'll save some for next week so I don't have to go through so many more things. But yeah, so busy couple weeks for Soju. Robert, what you been watching, my guy?
Oh, hey. I rewatched X, and it's still great. I
Excellent.
really love that movie. I also watched, I rewatched a movie called Becky. It just got like a new release. And it'd been a while since I'd seen it. I forgot like just how gory that is. If you're unfamiliar with the movie, it's basically about this family. They're on a vacation, and this like random group of neo-Nazis sort of come upon them in their cabin. And this little girl is sort of left to fend for herself, and she starts taking these guys out. And it's extremely gory.
Is
they're
it Kevin
making
James in it?
Kevin James is like
Yeah.
the head Nazi in the movie.
Yeah.
It's a weird role for him.
Yeah.
Wow, very weird.
He's he does a good job too.
Yeah.
Like he plays it very straight. He's got like a full-on like swastika tattoo on his head. It's pretty nuts, but he does a good job. Lulu Wilson's the little girl, and she does a great job. She really kind of carries the movie. And I guess they're making a sequel to it. I don't know. I haven't checked the cast on that. I don't know if Lulu's coming back or if they're going to have like a different family or something. I don't know. But being that the movie is called Becky, I feel like they would have to have Becky back, right? It's good though. I recommend checking it out if you haven't seen that. I also watched From Dark to Bleak or From Bleak to Dark. I forget. Mark Maron's new stand-up thing on HBO, whatever the title is. He's got a new hour-long stand-up special that just dropped last weekend. And it's good. It's very good. It's definitely not like busted gut funny. His stuff rarely is busted gut funny to me. It's more, I guess, interesting. And generally the shit that he was saying was like, oh yeah, this is pretty spot on and pretty dark. So it's properly named. But I enjoy that. Yeah, I enjoyed that quite a bit. It's probably my favorite stand-up bit that he's done so far. Like Randy, I also watched the Outwaters. I know it's got a very limited release. I think it's going to be on Shudder or Screambox. I forget which one. Maybe it's going to Screambox. So it'll be widely available soon. And yeah, we're going to get a mini cast going on that one. Interesting found footage movie. Wild shit for sure. And of course, football, because football's now over. That's pretty much what I've been watching this week. Let's get into our final segment of the show, which is, of course, our Hotline Screams.
Hotline Scream.
If you are listening and would like to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. We do have a couple voicemails this week. First up, we're going to hear from our boy Slytowski. Let's hear what he has to say.
What up, boys? It's Slytowski. I don't care if this gets on the show or not, but I just wanted to let you know that I found a Blu-ray triple disc or triple set of Halloween movies. It's H2O, 6, and Resurrection. Also, I'm I've been overdosing on Halloween recently and going from seeing original in 2018 to everything but Rob Zombie 2 and 3. So that's kind of fucked up to be ingesting all of that at once. And I'm about to subject myself to Rob Zombie 2 as well. But just wanted to let you know. And I'm so sad that I spent $6 renting Halloween Ends on Amazon when apparently it's coming to Prime or something February 14th. That was one of the worst movies I've seen, period. Goodbye.
Damn, what's really fucked up is you're watching Halloween movies, dude. We got a long way to go, my guy. I don't want to tease myself way too early. Yeah, it's January or no, February, I guess now. But yeah.
There's 6 weeks left in February, Justin. We covered it, right?
Halfway there.
It's a leap year.
We got 5 more months until spooky season, my guy. You got a while to go.
The 5th of July. Then you can dust off all those Halloween movies.
Then it's time to get into Halloween.
Yeah, I'm sorry you paid $6 to watch Halloween too. That should be free for everybody.
Unfortunate.
That
should be in the trash.
Yeah,
You should get credit for watching it. Like it adds to your Amazon account.
Yeah, it pays
Yeah,
you.
It should pay my rent for a month is what it should do. Yeah, dude, that's a lot of shit, man. My hat's off to you for slamming all those movies. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, I would much prefer to watch that than Halloween Ends personally, but I know that's everybody shits on that movie as well. Randy's thinking about it.
I don't think I can agree.
Yeah, I think I might still go with Halloween Ends.
Wow. All right.
The aesthetic is just not for me. Anyway, that's not a conversation we need to have right now.
Not yet.
Yeah, we've done
We'll have it again
not
later.
Yet. We've done them all.
Spent so many hours talking
them
about
all.
all
Wait
of
till
these
July
fucking movies.
We'll do it again. 20-hour episode.
That's a threat.
That is a threat.
All
right.
Yeah. Thanks for calling Slytowski. And thanks for being so goddamn hard with us this week. Join the Patreon, join Slack. You're all up in the straight chilling biz. We'd love to have you. Next up, we're gonna hear from our boy Jack. Let's hear what he's got to say.
So this is Jack. I saw that movie Knock at the Cabin, Knock at the Door, Knock at the Whatever. It was pretty good. Can't really complain. Here's the problem. My girlfriend said she read the book, and the book takes place in New Hampshire, which is great. I live there. And, we don't get a lot of representation. And for some fucking reason, M. Night Shyamalan was like, no. And he decided to set it in Pennsylvania. Dude, we have nothing up here. Why can't you just give us that, you piece of human garbage? All right, so Shyamalan, you're on my list now. Good movie, but, you're making some enemies, but all right, later.
Damn, that sounded like a clip from my upcoming Shyamalan ranking video.
My upcoming one-man show.
Yeah, you
Shyamalan
piece of
say
human
no.
garbage.
Justin's just screaming at his computer for an hour.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I forgot to mention that I did watch Knock at the Cabin as well. What you've been watching? Yeah.
There's a reason he sets all of his films in or around Philadelphia. It's his thing. So I mean, I guess except for Old, I haven't seen that one, but presumably
that one's definitely like on an island somewhere.
It's on the beaches of Philadelphia.
An island off the coast of Philadelphia.
You just see fucking Frank Reynolds driving a ferry boat by.
I started blasting.
It's just a trash barge.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like some of the shit that he's done, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, there's an island over there. I'll roll with it.
Not? But New Hampshire could use some love. The last time I saw New Hampshire highlighted in a series or anything was in Breaking Bad for like an episode. So
Yeah, I feel like anytime Virginia is represented, they're like, we're in Quantico. We're in the FBI, and then it's in
It's
DC, and I'm like,
Quantico,
"Oh,
or
fuck."
it's like somebody's like fucking redneck ass basement or
yeah,
some
like
shit.
a yeehaw place. Except, like I said, it's like
place.
Donnie Darko set in my suburb of Richmond.
Nobody
I live in a
ever-
Most
yeehaw
famous
place.
yeehaw place of all.
Nobody ever films anything in Florida, so
Totally. That's
we are very
true.
underrepresented.
Yeah.
Pro
Totally.
wrestling does sometimes.
The AE dubs, yeah, for sure. Thanks for calling, Jack. Honestly, I think there's more problems with that movie than what you've highlighted, but I'm glad you liked it for the most part. Anyways, hope you're doing well. Again, if you guys want to call in and leave a voicemail for next week's show, hit us up at 904-638-3231. Do you guys have any prompts you want to throw out there for next week?
What are we
one.
covering next week? Oh yeah, go
I
for it.
think
Randy.
everyone should submit Fuck, Marry, Kills. It doesn't have to be about people.
Whoa.
We do them a lot on Plug It Up, and often they're
I
not
like
about
it.
people.
Yeah.
Do one for sandwiches.
The one that like always
I
starts
want
it
to
off
fuck that sandwich.
is
Roast
so like
beef,
on Bloody
huh?
Good Horror Slack, I started the Fuck, Marry, Kills with Fuck, Marry, Kill, Cheetos, Doritos, Fritos, and then it was like off to the
Ooh.
races.
Dude,
I like it.
nothing's gonna get a chat room more lit than talking snacks.
I
Dude,
know.
kill Cheetos.
No,
Dude.
kill
No, fuck
Fritos.
that.
Fritos fucking suck.
Dude, you
Fritos
can put
can eat my
Fritos in
butt.
chili.
Mm,
I like
You put
Fritos.
Cheetos in chili, and it's superior. I'm sure.
Cheetos
So,
and
do whatever I
chili?
want.
The biggest question is, are we doing like flavors, or are we doing like OG Doritos?
I guess that's a good
OG
question.
Oh, that is
Cheetos?
because Cool Ranch
Anything
Doritos.
you want.
man.
Anything
Ooh.
I'm
you-
talking some jalapeno Cheetos.
Dude, what?
That's the shit.
The sweet chili Doritos, I'm marrying the shit out of that shit.
Wow,
Yeah, dude, those are
same.
good. Yeah,
Those are
those
so
are good.
good.
That's the
Purple
purple bag,
bag.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
purple bag. Get
Take
in my
that home
life.
to mama.
I'll fuck the shit out of those Doritos.
Mom, I met someone. She's
Her
sweet,
name?
she's spicy, she's the whole
Doritos.
package.
She's
Oh man. See? It's fun.
ooh.
I won't
alright.
be here, but send in your Fuck, Marry, Kills.
All right.
Caitlin,
Hey,
you just
I
want to
like-
write all of our prompts from now on because they're
I would
already
love
better
that.
than we do. Please
I'll
do.
call in with a
Fantastic.
Fuck, Marry, Kill. I'll think
She-
of one.
You're our
Okay.
you're our prompt
Sweet.
correspondent now.
Sweet.
Prompt correspondent in the field.
Of Yeehaw Town, USA.
Hey.
Awesome. Caitlin, thanks again for sitting in with us. It's a pleasure, as always. Do you want to remind everybody where they can find your show?
Yeah, you can find Plug It Up wherever you get your podcasts, and you can hit me up at Plug It Up Pod on Instagram and Twitter. And thank you for having me on. It's always a blast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 'Tis our pleasure, for sure.
Yes.
We're going to be back with a new episode next week. As always, we're going to be talking about the winner of the February poll, which was Slumber Party Massacre, the OG Slumber Party Massacre. Slam that into your eyeballs. Get ready for next week's show. Until then, you can rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. You can follow us on Twitter at STR8_chilling. On Instagram at Straight Chilling Podcast. And an email to straightchillingpodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to join in on our daily Slack channel conversations, just hit us up on one of our social media outlets, and I'll send you a link so you can do so. And until next week, as always, you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Like David Lynch.